I'm Officer Noah, and this is
Officer Daniela.
And today's topic is going to be about the father's business. In these times, it's a lot of excuses, a lot of problems, things that come up, and it takes us off track. Some valid, some invalid. It takes us off track of the actual mission. So I wanted to put together a class to put our minds back to the mission. So the first book that we're going to go to is Luke chapter 2 and verse 46 through 52. Just to get the mind frame that Christ was in at a very young age. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. This is the book of Luke chapter 2 and verse 46. And it came to pass that after 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them and asking them questions. And all that heard him were astonished at his understanding and answers.
So this is Christ sitting in the temple. They went down to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover, and he came up missing. His dad and his mom couldn't find him. They hysterical looking for him, and he right in there asking and answering questions, going over scriptures with the elder men. Read.
Verse 48. And when they saw him, they were amazed. And his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee sorrowing. And he said unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my father's business?
So Christ is talking to, like, listen, I'm here to do the work. That's what I was born for. That's my purpose. I understand. I got to get my people right. Read.
Verse 50. And they understood not the saying which he spake unto them. And he went down with them and came to Nazareth and was subject unto them.
So he understood that he just couldn't go. At the age that he was at, he was about 12 years old when they went down to Jerusalem to keep the Passover. But he understood that he was still subject under his parents, that he just couldn't go wherever he wanted to go and do whatever he wanted to do, even though he was doing what he was sent to do. So he understood that he was subject unto them. He had bounds at that moment. Read.
But his mother kept all these sayings in her heart.
Uh-huh.
And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man.
So it says that since he couldn't go out and teach and be an evangelist, go to city, he stayed, studied, grew. And not only just grew in wisdom and understanding, his popularity with the people that were around him grew as well. Because it said, where's it at? Favor with God and man. So he was still studying, doing things necessary to push the work at the age that he was at, where he was subject to. So go to Matthew chapter 4 and verse 17. So understanding the mentality that we should have is the key to this class. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 4 and verse 17. From that time, Jesus began to preach and to say, Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
So now he's an adult. And now he's going into the public, into the people, into different cities and places to teach the people repentance. That's the same spirit, same mind that we have to have. When we're amongst our people, it has to be that mind of this is how you repent. This is how you do better. Go to Romans chapter 13 and 11. Because in these times now, we see that things are moving faster. Things are changing amongst us. The dragon is wroth. We see how he's scrutinizing us with just social media. Like, I'm looking at my Facebook, and it's like 10 posts from the past says that it goes against the community. Meanwhile, you got this this kid on social media with a whole stomach talking about I'm due in September. I'm sure it's probably fake, but the fact that you pose for a picture like that and they'll let the homosexuals and all those things do and say whatever they want. But as soon as we say change, as soon as we say Christ is black, it goes against the community. It goes against the public. Go ahead and read. What you
Romans.
finna say? Hold up.
No, you hit it right on the head. I just saw that post on the way up here. The doggone singer, Lil Nas X, up here with a pregnant belly. A man with a pregnant belly. That don't make sense. But they got the People's Magazine backing them up, promoting them, pushing them out there. But when you see thousands of men marching for a change that believe in God, that's taking care of their house and their wives and their children, nobody publicly put that out there. Nobody want to support that. We get media blackout. We get kicked off of Facebook for posting greatness, men coming together, black, Hispanic, Native American. Nothing you have ever seen before in life. Thousands of men marching together in unity. One body. But do they post that? No, nobody posts that. Nobody supports that. That's it.
And we understand why, because they know. But our people are so confused and distracted that they don't know. Go ahead and read.
Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time.
So we know the times. We know what's going on. We know what's going to happen to this world, this country. Read.
Knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So the hustle to get our people to wake up, to see that they've been bamboozled out of their whole inheritance, it means more now than ever. Read.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
Because it could be tomorrow, it could be 10 years, it could be 50 years, but that's not a long time. We're not living that long. 50, 60 years old is probably about the max. You may get to 80, but the works that we do today, they have to count severely for this next generation, because they're not teaching our kids black history as it was done in history. They're giving a perverted doctrine to what's the word I'm looking for? To like ignore the fact what they've done.
If they could, they could remove it out of the school system.
Oh, some of them, they completely remove it. They give teachers the option to teach it in a way that's comfortable for them. They'll say it like that. Well, I'm not real comfortable teaching that we gave Indian smallpox, so we'll just say that we gave them blankets and moved them to a different country for their comfort. They'll say things like that. They won't outright say, yeah, sugarcoat. Or just completely lie, abolish what was completely done to us.
Right.
Was that it on Romans?
Yes, sir.
Go to chapter 10 in Romans. You read to 14?
No, I just read.
Yeah, read down to 14. My
yes,
mistake.
Sir. Romans chapter 13, verse 12. The night is far spent. The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light.
Our people don't know what the armor of light is. Read.
Verse 13. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying.
Because that's what our people are full of. They go home, they go to work, they go to the club, they go hang out with each other, and it's just a continuous cycle of maliciousness and partying and drunkenness and drugs, to the point to where they're so gone out of their minds to where they're not looking for God. They're just looking for that next fix to get to the next day, that next paycheck, so they can get to the next fix, whatever their lust is. Verse 14.
But put ye on the Lord Jesus Christ, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
Because a lot of times we will take these distractions and it will pull us back. It will pull us back. And those are those provisions. If you know that you struggle with that, don't be around those people. Don't be around those things. Read that part again. Provisions for the flesh.
And make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof.
Because that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to escape reality, have fun, to ease the pain of oppression. Get Romans 10 and verse 2.
Hey, officer. Hey, all praises Most High woke me up. Because The boys that I grew up with, they ain't talking about nothing. They still talking about what happened 15 years ago,
Right.
20 years ago, how, we was out there running around doing whatnot. That's all they talk about. There's nothing else, you can build from that. But just have memories and talking about what happened 10, 15 years ago. We got children. We got family. When we talk about investment, when we talking about doing stuff in the community, we don't talk about that stuff. But we like to get drunk. We like to get high. We like to talk about, what we did in high school and all that. But it doesn't benefit nobody. That's just the past. And that's all we live off of. I'm glad. All praises Most High woke me up, man.
Because there's nothing out there. Romans chapter 10, verse 2.
Romans chapter 10 and verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God.
And this is us. We have a zeal of God, but once we come into this truth, it becomes an everyday process. Okay, I got to wear fringes. I got to wear a head cover. If I'm a sister, I got to wear a dress. I got to take care of my family. It becomes normal process to us. And we still have that zeal of God, but we're not doing the extra. We're not making our print in this earth. We're just here. Well, okay, it's time for camp. Let's go to camp. Bring it out. You got to repent. Brother, you wicked. Then we go back home, and it's just absolutely nothing. It's no, okay, this is how camp went. We need to go here. We need to do this. We need to do this better. It's more to it than just passing out a flyer and going to camp every single day. It's what you do in your personal time that's going to help elevate your people. Read that again.
Romans chapter 10, verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God.
So it's written in the Bible that we have a zeal of God. We have no problem as repentant Israelites in keeping the commandments and going do the work. But it gets worrisome on us. We find excuses like, I don't want to do it today, man. Somebody else is going to do it. And we still get that mind of, yeah, the Lord know my heart, man. He know I put in works last week. I did this last week. But here it is, Christ as a 12-year-old. His parents freaking out, like, where's this kid at? I lost him. Somebody kidnapped him. He probably died. He's dead. He's gone. We went through all of this trouble to keep him safe and all of this, and now somebody got him. They panicking. But all he doing is the Father's work. And ask any one of us what we doing in our spare time. I bet with PlayStation, 2K, arguing with the wife, finding something to eat that's going to destroy our body anyway, flipping through the TV, because there's nothing new under the sun. All these TV shows is the same, just different bodies with a camera, different station. The news is the same. The weather is bad. Wars going on. We're focused on all those things instead of right here. And even myself, I'm guilty too, because like Solomon said, in this life, like King Solomon said, in this life, we got to find happiness in our life of vanity. And I'm not telling anybody to like, hey, throw your TV out. Stop playing games. Like, make yourself happy. That's not what I'm saying. But our main focus has to be back in this Bible and how we're going to encourage and build up our communities, each city and state. Start from the beginning at verse 2. We're at Romans chapter 10 and verse 2.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 10, verse 2. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge.
So my question is, what is that knowledge that we're missing? Anybody want to take a shot? Go ahead, bro. Applying the laws. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Anybody else got something else to add? So the knowledge that he's talking about is going in depth to this Bible, figuring out different ways to apply these laws, because every situation isn't going to be the same with every single person. Like some communities, they don't like us. So how do we get them to like us? How do we change our image? What knowledge can I use to implement in this situation at this time? Are we doing those things in our respective cities, homes, locations, the people around us, our families? Are we using this knowledge to keep our zeal and to bring that zeal into somebody else? Because everybody has said that they love the Lord, they love Jesus, but they don't know according to knowledge. Go ahead. You got something?
No, sir.
Go to Matthew chapter 22 and verse 36. And this is the knowledge that I'm speaking about. In Matthew chapter 22, verse 36.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 36. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
And I'm still speaking on us that are repentant. We know to love the Lord with all our heart, all our mind. And we're doing that for the most part. We're keeping the commandments. We're doing the daily things necessary to get us to the kingdom of heaven. But as a nation, this is the one right here, 38.
Verse 38. This is the first and great commandment. Verse 39. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
That's one of the biggest things that gets us messed up, is how to love our neighbor. That's the knowledge that we need to deeply get rooted with. Because like I said, we have that zeal. We love God. But when it comes to brothers and sisters, as soon as we don't like each other, that's where the problems begin. And we don't dive back off into the Bible or with each other to get these problems resolved with one another.
I remember what I was supposed to say.
Go ahead.
You hit it right on the head with Romans 10 and 2. I just want to turkey back on that a little bit. You have to understand leadership, how they move, how they build up and established a school. You got to look at the bishops. You have to look at the deacons, the time and the effort that they put in of studying and implementing a schedule, because they have to take care of their family. They got to go to work. They got to take care of the congregation. We got to understand that how we're going to take care of the congregation. What are those things that we're going to implement? You got to think about the purple and gold. You got to think about the logo, the brand, the mindset, the atmosphere that we want to have, the goals that we're trying to accomplish. You got all that goes into planning. All that goes into thought. We didn't just wake up and say, "Hey, we're going to get the kingdom. Hoorah!" We didn't do that. You got to look at drills. You got to look at everything. When we out there at camp, how it's in order, structure, all that took thought. And it's not just going to happen by osmosis. I never said that before.
You wanted to do that big word off of there?
I just wanted to throw that in there. It just don't pop up out of nowhere. You have to actually put it in work. You have to actually put it in work. Now, this is funny. This is funny.
Go ahead.
I'm done after this.
I like to laugh.
When you look at the movie Kung Fu Panda, the very first one, and the scroll.
That's a man with a lot of kids, by the way.
Yes.
He mentioned Kung Fu Panda.
But it really, because like the panda, he didn't believe in himself. Nobody believed in him. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the scroll. The scroll was important. It was important because the elder made it important. It wasn't nothing written on the scroll, nothing that could help him. But since it was precious, which it was important. Since it was important to everybody else, the students that was growing up. It was important to them, and that's the same thing leadership has done here. Those what's the word? The morals. What's important for us to install order in our household. We made that important. And now men are growing and following after that, and it's important to them. But that takes thought. It takes time. So we have to be about this work. If we're tired, there's many times, Officer Enos, me and Officer Enos, we stayed up trying to get this IT stuff going, get it right, because we got tired of getting yelled at. We got tired of classes being messed up and everything. We had to stay up long nights and try to figure this stuff out. And that's what it is about this work. You got to figure it out because we got to build this kingdom up. That's it.
One of the things that you mentioned, and you didn't say the key word, but it popped in my mind. Like when you look at these different businesses and companies, what they started doing to produce more for their business, because they pretty much hit their ceiling on how much they can profit off of the consumers. So what they did in their meetings is, okay, this company is doing this. We're going to implement that. And also, if we improve our customer service, if people feel like they like us, they're going to spend more money with us. And that's what I'm hitting at with Matthew 22, is the love that we have for one another, how we're gathering together, how we're consciously thinking of one another. So in a sense, what is our customer service to our own brothers and sisters in the body and in our respective neighborhoods? What do they think of us? Do they think that we're good? Do they think we're bullies? Do they think that we're approachable? Do they think that they can talk to us? What is our customer service like? And we have to ask ourselves that individually. And that's part of examining yourself. Get Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. No, stop right there. Don't change yet. Stay at Matthew's and read Matthew's. I'm jumping the gun. Read to 40.
Matthew chapter 22 and verse 39. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Because this is the majority of the laws. Out of the main 10 commandments, most of the laws come from loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's where us as blacks and Hispanics, that's what we fail at the most, is how we treat each other. And the law in John says if you don't love your brother, you hate God. You can't possibly love God if you don't love the man or the woman that's sitting right next to you. It's impossible. And we have to make that a dominant force between us because we're so divided amongst ourselves. Obviously, y'all have said all the time, Esau's ice is colder than the black man ice because that's how we act. We can sell ice on the same corner, but we'll go get it from Esau because this ice is so much better than the same ice. But that's how we treat each other in our everyday life. Now, did you read it to 40?
Verse 40. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
So everything that was written in the Bible, and that's the knowledge that we don't put into our actions on an everyday basis in the various scenarios that we come across. No one likes us, and we have to put on this face like we like every single person to the point to where it's in our attributes that we like every single nation, no matter how bad or good they treat us. We will treat them better than we treat our own. We'll support them first over our own. All good?
Oh, yes, sir. No, you're good. I was looking at something.
All right. Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1.
It's the book of Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Our backs are to one another. We're constantly warding off each other and the other nations. But the scriptures is telling us to gather ourselves together because we're not desired by anyone else. So when you don't have anybody else, where else are you going to go? The objective is to come to each other. But when we come together, it's nothing but violence, hate, malicious, lust. And that mentality in us has to die. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. You be leaning over like you finna say something. Go ahead.
Well, earlier this week, for Casting Down Imaginations, I was going over the same thing. Casting down that imagination, that stronghold, the mentality that we have with one another, how we degrade each other, how we belittle each other. That's a stronghold that we have to cast down, that we have to defeat. But I mean, it's all praises that we on one accord with this. We at the same time talking about the same thing. All praises.
So earlier in Matthew, we was talking about how in these times. It's high time that we repent, that we wake up out of sleep. So Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. We're gonna read this down to verse 14.
Yes, sir. Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world?
So the prophets want to know what's going to happen when the world is over. How are we going to know? Give us some insight on how we're going to see what we need to do. Because how I think is, let me see something so I can prepare myself right when it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Like, we are a reactive people, not proactive. And just thinking of me and my errors, listen to this. I want to know, so that day, that time, when I start seeing that time, then I'm going to get myself together. That's a Christianity mind state. Like how brothers say, man, if I die, just before I die, I'm going to pray to God, tell him forgive me for all the wickedness that I did, and I'm going to make it to the kingdom of heaven. If I was reading this in Christianity, I'm like, okay, listen, I see the times. All right, it's time for me to get myself together, which all praises. But us being repentant, we shouldn't have to wait for this to be treating each other like we're supposed to treat each other. Read on.
Verse 4. And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
So that's already happened. We've been deceived. We've been told that we're not the Jews, that we're not Israelites, that we're not the people of God. And God himself looks like the other nations, looks like Esau. Read.
Verse 5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
Different types of religions, doctrines, even brothers that are Israelites, that know that they're Israelites. They're going to come with different things and say, listen, this is the way. We're the truth. Read.
I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
Read.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled.
So things are going to happen. And consequently, we're going to bear the repercussions of these things going on. But Christ said, don't be troubled, because we're seeing wars. Yeah, we pulled out of Afghanistan, out of the Middle East, but that's not the end of things. Things could get worse. Things will get worse, according to prophecy. Read.
For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
So these wars are coming, but this isn't the end yet. Read.
For nation shall rise against nation.
We're seeing that. People are getting ready. They're ramping up. They're doing military drills between Japan, China, Russia, America, the UK, the EU. Right. Everybody's getting prepared just in case, in their mind, just in case things happen, we're going to be ready more than the other side. Read.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences.
That's already happened. So the famines that have already happened. We're seeing people run out and go get tissue. You can only get 2 items at the store of necessity. So it's coming. It hasn't hit America like it's hit some of these other countries, but it's here as well. Pestilence. We have to wear masks. They're trying to give us vaccines to cure these diseases that they're creating. So we're seeing all of these happening. It's not the end yet. Read.
And earthquakes.
We're seeing different storms and earthquakes in diverse places. Read.
In diverse places. All these things, all these are the beginning of sorrows.
And this is just the beginning of the end. Read.
Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
So preaching this gospel, you have a target on your back. Preaching this gospel, you have a target on your back, a special target on your back. They have to do special things to make sure that they get rid of this word, this gospel, starting with us as a people. And they've done that over the generations with the different things that they put in our communities to distract us, to kill us, to poison us, and to confuse us. Read verse 9 again.
Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you.
And consequently, some of us may die in this truth. Some of us may die fighting for this end. Read.
And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Read.
And then shall many be offended.
So people are going to start getting offended because when we go through tribulation, the first thing that we do is blame. You the reason why we this, you this, you this, you that. And it's just an excuse to jump ship. We'll find problems with one another just so we can't be held accountable. Because the leaders, we're the ones that look out for your soul. We're watching over you, and the mistakes that we make, we got to pay for them. So it's easier to put it on somebody else rather than to say, you know what, that happened, but it just shows me I need to get myself together as well. It just showed me something about myself that I need to fix. I need to change. So it doesn't happen this way. Read.
Verse 10. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
And we see that. We see that hatred amongst Israel. Even in IUIC, even in this camp, we've seen people betray this camp, that were in this camp. Even in our respective congregations, there's issues going on with one another. And within our marriages, to where husband and wife are hating each other. Mother and son and daughter are hating each other. These things can't be named among us. Read.
And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many.
So this gospel is going to blow up to where everybody with a Bible like, listen, I got the way. I know the truth. I got the truth. This is how you do it. This is the way you go. We're who's popping. Read.
And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold.
And the world is going to get evil. Homosexuals taking over like crazy. And it's so confusing that they don't even understand what they're doing. Right. I want to tell this story. It shouldn't. So I'll say it like this. I hadn't had to work in like 3 years. And I finally started working again. And I worked for 2 years as a manager. So, I'm looking at these young kids. I'm seeing their mannerisms because it's new to me. I haven't had to deal with the public in that manner. I've just been a manager here for IUIC, an officer for IUIC. So, I'm speaking to people like I'm speaking with austerity because that's what I know. That's what I'm used to. I didn't have to go out much, but to the grocery store, deal with the bank, pay bills, deal with Esau and the world on a minute basis. But when I became a manager for someone else's stuff, I'm starting to see these kids and their mentality and how confused and how miseducated they are. And that confusion makes them very angry. Like when you correct them, it turns into a ignorant stupidity because you'll tell them. They'll see their mistake and do the same thing over and over because it comforts them. Even though that they see the consequences, they're still willing to do it because it comforts them. And that's the way I'm seeing that the world has trained these young kids to be. Just comfort yourself. Make yourself happy. Whatever consequences, there's another job. You can get another job here. Somebody will take care of you. Go find you a baby mama and just live with her. Go back to mom's house. Somebody's going to, this is a very spoiled generation and emotional. You can't tell them anything. Read on.
Verse 13.
Oh, the point that I wanted was the transgenders. They change themselves and then go out to society and say, accept me for being who I am when I don't even like who I was, so I changed it. But you had better not say anything against it. That's confusion in itself. How are you going to fix yourself when you're already confused in a situation? You're trying to force people to accept you. When you don't love yourself. So how are you going to love anybody else? How are you going to learn to love anything else and you don't even have the love for self? Read on.
Verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
So us as a people, we're going to see all of these things. We're going to go through all of these things. It's going to be tough. Every single one of us has a Job story. Every one of us have taken losses to be in this truth, and some great, some small. But some of us have taken great losses for the sake of this truth. Like, when I came in, all I knew was my cousin. He brought me in. He said, hey, come here. This is where it's at. I'm like, cool. I came. And after, I'd say a year, maybe a couple months, he left me. So I'm like, you just left me with all of these people I don't even know. Some I don't even get along with. They don't like me. I don't like them. And you just left me. How am I going to continue in this truth? And the more I started studying and reading and getting acclimated to being around a new crowd, I understand the scriptures now. It's supposed to be like that. People are going to come and go. People are going to be on fire for this truth. They're going to do wonderful things. And their light will burn out. Or that same person that you looked up to, they'll do something evil to you. And you're left to deal with that. And endure it. Read on.
Verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
And that's where I was saying with the customer service. How is this gospel going to be preached in all nations if we're only concerned about ourselves? Who's taking the initiative to learn a different language? Who's going to do a class in Japanese or Chinese? Who's going to do that? Because our people are scattered over there. Who's going to? We'll do it for work. If work said, hey, listen, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars to move here, we'll do that. But for the truth, it's like, nah, I'm comfortable at home. I want to stay right here in my community and do this. Right. And that's the mindset that we need to break, because this gospel has to go out. Christ went everywhere that he needed to go to get this gospel out, because he himself knew how short of time that he had on this earth to fulfill every single thing that he was called to fulfill. And then his life be taken. So what I'm saying is we have to think about our time, because we're not Christ. We don't know the time. We don't know at this point, okay, yeah, I'm finna die. They finna take me. They're going to do this. I'm gonna die in my sleep. We don't know that. So the amount of works that I seen Christ and Bishop do, it sparked something in me. And it made me ask myself, am I doing enough works to make sure that, read verse 14 again.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations.
So my question to myself was, what am I doing personally? Or what can I do personally to make sure that this happens before my time runs out? Can I make that hustle, that move, the same way Christ did, the same way I'm seeing my leaders do? What am I doing? So, you know me, I set goals. Put this in position and put this in position, and hope that the Lord will bless that mind to get it done and put the attributes to it. You got something?
No, sir. I'm holding back.
All right, go to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 32. Because we want this truth to be easy. Some of us came into the truth thinking like, yeah, I'm going to come in. I'm an Israelite. I'm the greatest thing on the earth. Nobody can touch me. Like, as soon as you found out that you was an Israelite, it's like your flesh turned into Teflon. You can say whatever you wanted to say to people, and they couldn't say anything back to you, because God is going to curse you, and you better bless me so God can bless you. And when things started happening, it's like, I ain't Teflon. My feelings is hurt. I don't want to be around these people. They asking me to do this and go here. And, man, I even took care of all the things I need to take care of for myself. Okay. I knew you was going to jump back off in there. You just...
If y'all seen the class, if y'all seen Cast Down Imaginations, and what Officer Noah is bringing out right now, I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You be on fire. You come in, you on fire. You have that urge, that ability to do whatever it is. But then life kick in. Life beat you up. Now you tired. Now you can't even open a book and read. You can't even read 4 chapters a day. You so beat down. You have to find a way to get back up and get on the ball. You got to get that urge back going. You got to keep that fire going. Because the kingdom ain't here yet. The kingdom is not here. So we have to keep pushing. We have to endure through those times, especially those times. That's most critical. Just like the school being shut down because of COVID. We don't get to congregate. We don't get a chance to be around like-minded people. We just go to work and deal with being at home. Being at home with kids 24/7, that'll drain your energy. But if you're fired from COVID, if you don't have work, you don't have money coming in, you worried about bills, you worried about a whole lot of other stuff, and there's no way you can release that. You have to find ways to get on the phone, call your officer, call your brothers up, call your sisters up, do something to keep that fire going. And then once we open back up, boom, we back on the streets. We getting it. It's like we never stopped. That fire is still going. But yeah, all praises. All praises.
So with all the affliction going on, go ahead and read Matthew 10, verse 32.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 32. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess also before my Father which is in heaven.
So if you do as I did, and you go out and preach this gospel to the fullest of your strength, you're going to be recognized for it. And a lot of us, we be waiting for that recognition here, right now. Recognition. Did I say it right?
No, I'm saying for men. I'm agreeing with
okay. But the Most High, he sees it. There's a book in Sirach that says some men didn't get named as great men, but they had works. They're not over the Moses and Abraham's and Isaac's and Peter's and Paul. They didn't get mentioned. They didn't get books written about them. I'm still trying to figure out what Enoch did. That's like my goal. What did Enoch do? How is he named so great that he was translated? I want to find that thing out. But his works are not there. But we know that he's great. So with that goal in mind, whatever he did, I'm going to try to do it. I know he was keeping the commandments and preaching, because that's the main objective of our duty.
He did something right. Whatever he did something right.
Exquisitely. Exquisitely right.
I'd rather be not mentioned than to be mentioned about the sin that I've done, like the 72 men that got killed because they was trying to go get over one on Moses. They was trying to get over one on Moses. I don't want to be remembered for that.
Yeah, you don't want to be Korah. I call that whole clan the legend of Korah.
Right.
Man.
But I'm looking at his example. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to be me. I want my name to be as great as King David. It's a goal. I may not be as great as King David in my lifetime, but all the works that he did, I'm going to try to measure up to it. Just so my father see, like, yeah, I loved him. He did what he was supposed to do while he was there. Read on.
Verse 33. But whosoever shall deny me before men,
not keep the law. Read.
Him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven.
Read.
Think not that I'm come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. That
fly messing with you? Okay, so you going through it down there. All right, you got it together? You straight down? All right, read that again.
Verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
See, we want the building of this nation to be like Esau's army. Esau will take you out of general public, break you down, and build you up into what they want you to be with no outside distractions. They give you a phone call every once in a while so you can check on things at home, but they isolate you from the world. You can't hear you barely get any news. I was in my bay when I found out Bernie Mac had died. My drill sergeant came in with a long, sad face, and he was like, hey, privates, yeah, y'all gather around. I got y'all mail for you, and the great Bernie Mac passed away. Like, dang, why are you coming here with that news? I'm already isolated. I'm sick of smelling men and being around 100% men. I want to go home, and you come with some dumb news like that. But that was good for the development because we didn't have any distraction. Our only mission was to excel and make it out of a drill sergeant, out of what's it called? Basic training. Yeah. But that was our only goal, is to make it out of basic training so we could get back to general population. But here, there's not going to be any peace. You're going to be constantly distracted and demanded to do other things other than this work. And that's just one part of the peace that's sent here. Read.
Verse 34, think not that I'm come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword.
So a sword divides. It kills. Read.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
So now there's variances, and this is between the nation. Okay, now you're not going to get along with your kids because you're going to take them out of the life that they knew and tell them that they have to live this life now. So it's not, what about my friends? My friends get to go here. My cousins get to go here. Why nobody get to come here and do what we doing? And it separates you from society while you're still in society. Read.
Verse 35. For I'm come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother.
See, most of our parents grew up a certain way, and they let you do a certain thing. But when you come out into this truth, they looking at you. Well, you got to do that. I'm looking at old pictures of you. You got to go to prom. You got to go to dances. You got to do these things. You had a boyfriend. Why can't I do these things? And now you at variance. Now it's a fight to keep the family together. And for me, I was already an adult when I came into the truth, and me and my pops were at war. He's a pastor. So, he's holding firm to what he's been taught and to what he believes, to where it's like some of those things I don't have to do, son. No one has to. I went to school. I learned under a person. Like, this is brand new to you. And you're going to tell me, your father, that you know better than me? I raised you. I birthed you. You wasn't nothing until I met your mama. And you telling me that you know better than me, it's not going to work. Then you go to the mom. What your daddy say? Well, I'm going to follow him. Well, I can't talk to you no more. You still coming for Thanksgiving? No, I just told you I don't celebrate those things. What are you saying? Oh, you too good now. You going to treat that family better than your own family? I'm like, no, it's just certain things I don't do. Like when I was doing things that when I had to go to work and couldn't make it to Thanksgiving, you were understanding. Everything was okay. You couldn't make it to this family member's house because you had this obligation. Basketball practice, yeah, you can miss out on this. It's special to me, but you going to be a star someday, so you can go ahead and do that. Everything is peachy keen when Esau gives us the permission to do it. But when it comes to us helping each other and giving each other medicine, it's like, oh, no, your medicine ain't good. I'm going to stick with this medicine. It's been working my grandma's life, my granddaddy's life. It's been working all this time, and you're going to come with something new. I'm like, okay, it's the Bible. It's the same Bible you reading. Read on.
And the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
I had those woes too. Read.
And a man's foe shall be they of his own household.
Your own people are going to be your biggest problem. Loving your neighbor is going to be hard. You trying to hug him and he in a fist fight with you.
Verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me.
If you give in to this deception of love, read,
is not worthy of me.
then you're not worthy of the kingdom. You're not worthy to be called a child of God. Read.
And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
So, my feelings is hurt. Cool. I can't be a son to you anymore because I don't do the things that my Father in heaven says not to do. Then that's just what it is. Read.
And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
Read.
He that findeth his life shall lose it.
So, the thing that you wanted to do, sports, entertainment, now you're a superstar if you're a gamer. If you what's those called? The cosplay people? Hey, you're a superstar if you one of them now. I didn't never think that the age of geek was going to rise to this level to where like you was a what's the derogatory term of a nerd if you watch anime and play video games like that. But now you're a superstar. You get on social media and you got all these followers following you to play a video game. And if that's what you wanted to do, read.
And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it.
So you found your life. The passion that you wanted to do against God's commandment, you found it. Read.
And he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
But if you're willing to lose those distractions, which is what it is, you're going to find a new life with Christ. And that thing is going to go on for eternity. Right. You can make up whatever entertainment in the kingdom. Forget this stuff. Right. It comes with too much of a cost. And I'm going to tell you, cell phones have made us slow. I won't say dumb, but it's made us slow. I could remember things better without it. I remember like 10 phone numbers. Now it's just maybe 3. Mom, dad, wife, and my own. So that's 4. That's it. That's the max that my brain is going to handle with numbers.
Sir. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 37. But as the days...
Start up verse 35.
Yes, sir. Verse 35. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away.
And that's what I was talking about with the distractions. Now we on point. Yes, these things are going to go away. They're going to reinvent something else. There's going to be a new Apple phone. There's always going to be a new Apple product. It's the same thing. It does the exact same thing. Listen, I hate cell phones. I'm going on a tangent. Sorry. And the reason is because they sell it to us like it's supposed to be so great. It does this and it does that. It has a 4th camera now. I don't even take pictures like that. I'm not trying to be a photographer. The main function of a cell phone is to contact people. We didn't have these problems before the age of cell phones blew up. We go to school, we meet each other somewhere. You're like, hey, listen, on this day, at this time, we going here. You got stood up, that's just what it is. But we had a better sense of communication before cell phones. Now we don't even talk to each other. We just post things, like it. Post things, love it, laugh. That made me sad. There's no real connection with these cell phones now. We've lost that love through this technology. It irks me. I'm sorry. It irks me. It's expensive phone calls is what we're doing. Read.
But of that day and hour knoweth no man.
35 again.
Yes, sir. Verse 35. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of
these laws, this Bible is going to be here. Our custom, our ways, us as a people, the Most High, He's going to be here forever. New things are going to get created. And it's not different. It just looks better. From the next project to the next product, it's the exact same thing. King Solomon said it. It's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. So the things that we have today, it'll be here tomorrow. They're just going to rename it, rebrand it, what have you. But our love for each other is going to last for eternity. And we have to get it right now. Before this happens, read.
Verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
So only the Most High knows when he's finna activate this day. And it's going to come in the time of our distractions, our enjoyment. And you got to ask yourself, what mind frame am I in? What did I do with my life? Did I preach this gospel to the limits? What do my works say? Because everybody blew off Noah like rain, drowned, flood. Just you and your family? A boat? What you need a boat for? I mean, just imagine telling people, hey, listen, I'm building a boat. God finna flood the earth and kill everybody. You're crazy. No one's going to listen to that. And that's how we're viewed today. Esau is empowering. He's doing an impeccable job. Look at how far we've grown. Women can vote. We have vehicles. We can be Instagram stars. We don't even have to work a job. Look how far civilization has gone. We're doing so great now. Why would he destroy this? We're still working on unity as a people, but it took years to get to where we're at now. Give us a little bit more time and we'll be on that. And we're going to do it in space and on the moon and these things. That's the mind of the people here and today, that this life can't end and everything is good. Read on.
Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
So he told them, and the day that he entered into the ark, they were still having a good time with their pleasures, their lust, their raveling, their lifestyle. Like everything was okay. Read.
And knew not until the flood came.
And now the flood came, and now that first drop, like, Noah was right. It's just one drop. It ain't gonna flood. It's just water out of the sky. That's all right. Did you spit on me? Stop playing. Read.
And knew not until the flood came, and took them all away.
And that water didn't stop. And now it's like, oh, we got to find Noah. Noah was right. He was right, man. I knew he was right. I told you to listen to him. Put that down. Let's go find him for run us out. Read.
So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
That flame going to come just the same. You're not going to have time to prepare. You're not going to be able to run behind a prophet. It was like, hey, listen, I loved you guys. That was me. Had honked the horn and pumped my fist and said, man, I love what y'all doing. Keep doing what y'all doing. It ain't going to happen. And for us, whatever problems that we have with each other, it ain't your grudges that you hold with one another. That phone is not going to work to where you have, hey, listen, man, today I heard that Christ was coming. Let me just apologize and say, you know, man, I was a jerk. It was all my fault. I should do better. You're not going to get that opportunity. The arguments that we have between brother, sister, mother, father, mother-in-law, son-in-law, or what have you, you're not going to get that opportunity in that day. And that's why it has to be rehearsed on a daily basis. That's why the scriptures say that we speak to one another often. I know myself, I have a problem. Like I said, I hate phone calls. I like to see people in person. I like to see and talk to you in person. I can't sit here and be like, yeah, you know, that ain't me. And then on the other side of it, it's like, okay, we've talked, we've chatted, we've talked about the moon and the stars and the sun, and I seen you yesterday, and I see you today. It's no more to talk about. But we have to get into those habits of being around each other and staying around each other. You got that twitch like you're going to say something.
No, I do have a pet peeve, though. When people, they drive by and they honk their horn and they throw up their fist, like that's going to change the world. I be wanting to throw a Coke can at their car.
Throw a what?
Throw a Coke can, Coca-Cola, a soda, a pop, a pop at their car. It don't make sense, man. They see us out here doing the word. Man, I see you, man. I see you, man. I saw you coming out teaching the word, man. Why you didn't come?
Just 5 minutes of your time.
Right.
Maybe 15. To educate you that you've been miseducated on life.
No, man, I gotta go. Man. I gotta go.
And even us, in our zeal, Sometimes we be too busy to take 5-10 minutes out of 12 hours to just call a brother or sister and say, hey, listen, I appreciate you. I love you. We get too busy. And that's why I sat here and thought about this class, because it's so much going on. It's so much that we have to do, that we got to get done, or we're putting it off to where we miss the love of each other. And we're not expressing that. And then there's some people that you just plainly avoid on purpose, because you know, like, if I just try to be nice to this person, we're just going to argue by nature. And it can't be within us. We can't say that we love God, because we don't always, and we won't admit it, but we don't like to do what he say to do. Not always. Even with fringes and keeping the commandments, showing up in our beautiful garments and shalom, Most High in Christ, but we don't always like the Most High. The times that he put us through, the conditions that are set up in our lives, is like, man, you have the power to stop this, like the attitude that Jonah had. You have the power to stop all of this. Why I got to go do it? You can just make it all go away. And we have that attitude with the Most High that you can change this. Why you got to put us through it? And we get angry with the Most High. And we take it out on each other. John chapter 13. Verse 34 and 35. John 13. So Christ said this. And it's not really new. It's not a new thing at all. It's just something that we void as a people in our everyday life.
John chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you.
So Christ is saying, I'm giving you a new commandment. And it's not new, because it's written in the Old Testament. Read.
That ye love one another as I have loved you. That ye also love one another.
So I got a question. How did Christ love us? Because that's what I base it off of. When I read through Matthew's and through Matthew through Luke and Mark, I'm looking at all the different examples of how Christ loved his people. So give me some examples. Anybody? Go ahead, Malachi.
I got Romans 5:8. It says, but God commended his love toward us, that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
That's a good precept. Now explain it. Use the mic.
The way that Christ died for us is by giving his life for us. He died in our place. He took the penalty or the punishment that we were supposed to have and put it upon himself.
I'll take that. So with that being said, are you going to do that for your brethren, your sister, your children? Are you going to put yourself in that line of fire for your people? Because it's written in Romans, you're the living sacrifice, just as Christ. And we do put our lives on the line just from wearing this purple shirt. So what are you going to do? What are you going to give up in your personal life so that you can love your people? And sometimes it's something or an emotion in you that you just hold on to as to why you can't love your people. And it's all up here. It's all up here. And we just stay there. Was that it? You know?
No, sir.
That was 35?
No, I'm on 35 now.
Go ahead.
Verse 35. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye love one to another. If ye have love one to another.
So in my experience of being in this truth, I see the difference on how certain people treat an Israelite that's keeping the commandment versus the ones that say they're Israelites and don't keep the commandments. It's a different level of respect. They don't do, either they don't say certain things. Well, I'll just give a plain example. Some of these people won't even cuss around us. They won't say vulgarity around us because they know who we are. They have that level of respect. So like, you know what? I'm going to mind my tongue around these people because they're special, they're different, versus how they treat just a regular Negro or the Israelites that you don't even know that they Israelites until they say, Shalom, where you come from? You blessing me with your head covered. You ain't got no fringes on.
Yeah, where your fringes?
Bald. Like, where you come from? And you just all. And I'm going to tell you, some of them, they have a genuine love for their people more than some of us. And I ain't going to sugarcoat it. We are the camp that's looked up to the most. And I see some of them out and about, and they genuinely love their people in actions. I know not in commandment. Because we won't even speak to some of our people. We'll just walk past, be like, you ain't repentant. Don't touch me. You're going to give me sin cooties. Don't talk to me. But that's how we act. But how are we going to convince them that we are Christ's disciples if we're not treating them? He had to walk into cities and deal with crazy, deranged, sickly people
that was throwing rocks at him,
trying to kill him, and still deal with them on that level. It's a heavy thing. I'm telling you, when I thought about this, I'm like, it's a real heavy thing. And we get in our emotions and our own minds, our own problems, and we forget about these little things of customer service. Because that's what we're providing to our people with the laws of God. And we have to elevate to that level of giving each and every one of our people that customer service, so they have no excuse to say, that's why I didn't repent, because this brother treated me this way, this sister treated me way. She always got an attitude when I come up to here, and that can't be mentioned among us. We have to elevate our personal relationships with the community, and it's going to start by practicing here. Go ahead. You went blank?
No. Give me 1 John chapter 4, verse 17. Leadership went over this last week, I believe. Both bishops, Bishop Yawasop and Bishop Kanai, they went over this scripture, 17 and 18. This is going along with what you were saying about who's going to put their life on the line like Christ did.
1 John chapter 4 and verse 8, verse 17. Herein is our love made perfect.
This is love made perfect when you actually have true love for your people, for this truth. Read.
That we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is,
as Christ is, read.
So are we in this world.
So are we in this world. Just the same fire that Christ had, how he was teaching the people, how he dealt with the people, how he died for his people. This is how we are in this world, in this current time. Read.
Verse 18. There is no fear in love.
There's no fear in love. Love push out fear. Nothing's going to hold you back when you have that love, that perfect love. And you understand that it's not going to happen unless I do it. I'm tired. I don't feel like it. But it's not going to get done unless I get up there and do it. That type of love. When somebody call you 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because they going through it, and you have to comfort that person with the scriptures. You have to put yourself aside. Now you restored your brother. Now you restored your sister back to where they out there doing their thing. Perfect love, there is no fear. It's gone. Read that from the top.
Verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear.
Perfect love casts out fear, because we understand the mission. We understand to get the kingdom. Whatever it is to get the kingdom, that's what we're going to do, because I love my people. I love this truth. Keep reading.
Because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect. Not made perfect in love.
He that have fear, your faith. You got to understand your faith, what you believe in. What are you doing this for? It's lacking. You have to restore that. You have to build yourself back up. Like I said, I keep referring back to the class because it's same points. It's same key points. You can't build up a nation if you don't have love. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't better yourself, you can't take care of somebody else. You can't better them. You can't teach them how to be better because you're not taking care of yourself. Like you were saying earlier, how you expect love when you hate yourself? How you expect somebody to respect you if you don't even respect yourself? So when you don't have that perfect love, you have that fear. You have the fear of what Esau is going to do. You have the fear of what the government is going to do. You got to push forth this truth no matter what. Persecution, death, whatever it is. It's about to get real. It's about to turn up. For real. We was worrying about losing jobs. How we going to pay bills? It's about to get real. Go ahead, officer.
You about to we could lose family members now. Their life. Lose children. Some of us have already done so. Some of us have already had to bury kids. And that's part of it. But it shouldn't hinder your stride in getting the kingdom of heaven. I seen one of my relatives, when his mom passed, so did he. He just a empty soul walking around the earth. And you can see that he has no life in him whatsoever. He may smile and have fun, but to the core, he's dead. And it's just empty. And you see that with our people. Romans chapter 13 and verse 10. I'm trying to speed up. We got a few more minutes. I still got a lot of scriptures too. Romans chapter 13 and verse 10.
Romans chapter 13, verse 10. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law.
And that's that new law. And one of the greatest laws. And we have to fulfill that now more than ever. And the people got to see that we love each other more than any other people, because it's going to bring them closer to us. If they see how we love them, like, dang, man, y'all have such a close-knit family. Not one of y'all lacking. Like, they have to see how great our love is for one another. Because if it's not, it's going to deter them from coming in. Go ahead.
And I was joking. I was joking about the people driving by, throwing their fist up. But people actually are looking. People are actually examining and seeing how you're moving. And some is for the bad. You know, they wish your downfall. But people are genuinely actually watching because they don't know if that's the right step they need to, you know, that they need to take. And there's people that's been here back in the day when the other group was here in Oklahoma and actually burned a couple of bridges. They kind of messed up people's faith. And I have a couple of them. They used to tell me, "Hey man, you should be Israelite." I'm like, yeah, whatever. But now I'm woke up. I'm in this truth. And I'm like, bro, the same thing you was telling me, it's real. Nothing changed. We still got to get the kingdom. So what is your excuse now?
Just
they got burnt out because of one man. And now they focused on men. That's their fear.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 119.
So this is the solution to the matter. This is how we're going to build our education and our bond together.
Verse 11. Thy word have I hid in mine heart, that I might not sin against thee. Blessed art thou, O Lord. Teach me thy statutes. With my lips have I declared all the judgments of thy mouth. I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies, as much as in all riches.
So this is the other side also of the works. We have to educate ourselves daily at all points in time. Whenever you got nothing to do, you just stare out in space, meditate on the things that you know you've read, and ask yourself, What am I not doing? What am I doing? What am I doing great? Do a survey on yourself to see where you're lacking at so you know what to study, to continue in the Father's business, because a good amount of doing this work is educating yourself. The more you educate yourself, the more you'll be better for the next person. Read.
I will meditate in thy precepts and have respect unto thy ways. I will delight myself in thy statutes. I will not forget thy word. Deal bountifully with thy servant, that I may live and keep thy word. Open thou mine eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of thy law.
So we want to be able to open our eyes to be open to see things that we ain't seen before. Like, dang, man, I ain't doing that. I could do that better. Oh, that's a good idea. Let me bring it to leadership and ask them if we can do this to make things better. Or I'm lacking in this. We want to study this Bible for our benefit, to bring us closer to God. Because doing that is going to automatically gravitate people to us. That love, like, I'll just say with Deacon Abiel, because we all know Deacon Abiel. He has a spirit that you just like the guy. It's just like when you see him, the expressions that he have, like his voice. Like when we was at men's conference, he like, listen, I like interaction. He walked around the whole thing. Israel, rise, Israel. And you know what? I ain't that hype of a person, but I'm hyped now. It's just like his spirit, like it makes me want to be like, yeah, that's why I follow that guy. That's why he's my deacon. And we all can have that spirit. It comes from the Most High. And if you want it, you'll get it. If you don't, you won't. But when you see people like that, it encourages you. I'm going to follow him. I'm going to be a leader like that. And then the next people that are following you, they're going to have that spirit like, yeah, I roll like that because of this man. He showed me how to be like this. And more people are going to follow that humble, loving spirit. Verse 18.
Verse 18. Open thou mine eyes.
So use this Bible to open your eyes. You was finna say something?
You have to take this opportunity too. The fact that you have a deacon here in Oklahoma, that you need to take that opportunity to soak up as much wisdom, as much as you can from that man. Giving the respect as well. Like, we have a deacon. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we have captains, but we have officers of 50 on up. We have leadership here. But I'm saying we have a deacon. A lot of people, and one of the favorites. I mean, I don't want to put it like that, but a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people look up to him. We got him here. You can talk to him. Some of y'all can call him. Y'all can bother him, and he's going to allow that. Y'all have a relationship with him. Y'all have that. You have that opportunity to gain and soak as much knowledge from that man while he's here on this earth. And a lot of people don't take that opportunity. A lot of people don't. I myself, I know he's a busy man. I know everybody's asking him questions and stuff like that. He yelled at me, bro, just ask me. Come talk to me. What's wrong with you? Like, man, you right. Why not? Right? Why not wear out the footsteps when you have the opportunity to? That's it.
Let's go to Sirach 37 and 23.
You want me to finish 18?
No, we finished it. I just wanted to repeat that about open my eyes. I want y'all to remember in Psalms that it was saying, open my eyes. Sirach chapter 37.
Sirach chapter 37, verse 23. A wise man instructeth his people, and the fruits of his understanding fail not.
Read.
A wise man shall be filled with blessing, and all they that see him shall count him happy.
Just like I was explaining with Deacon Abiel. That's a happy man. Listen, the love that he has for his people, I haven't seen that before. It's refreshing. Read. Even with Bishop Nathaniel. I'm not saying that the other leadership don't have that, but I'm making a comparison. Like, I haven't seen that in my youth with the men that's above me. Like, people that I seen as leaders, I haven't seen that type of humble and meek love that you like, man, I just, there's nothing bad that I can say about this man. It's like, when I'm around him, it's like, it seems like peace. Read.
Verse 25. The days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Israel are innumerable. A wise man shall inherit glory among his people, and his name shall be perpetual.
Man, we be looking at like Tupac. Like, yeah, he said he's going to live forever through his music. No, prophets live forever through this word. You're going to remember a man that walked on the earth like Christ. You're going to remember a man just like that. And you're going to talk about him for a lifetime because of the works. We haven't even met Moses. It says none was more meek than Moses. And we all praying for that spirit. We don't physically know how he was. We just read little bits of parts about his leadership, and we grasp to that. But he's still being spoke about till this day and loved as if we knew him like our grandfather. That's the type of name that you want. That's the type of works that you have to put in for people to say, man, you know what? I'm not even sad. I'm not even going to miss him because of every single thing that he did. He did his job well. And we're going to be living it every single day. Because of what this man set for us, we're going to live it and remember it and honor the Most High God for sending such a man to be blessed with his presence. Read.
Verse 27. My son, prove thy soul in thy life.
So prove your soul. Read.
And see what is evil for it.
So you got to compare what's evil out there for your own self, because there's some things that won't trip you up. They won't be a stumbling block for me, but it'll be a stumbling block for you to cause you to sin. So you got to prove what's going to knock you off balance, what's going to take away your time from studying, from being with your brothers and sisters, for spending that time in this gospel. What's evil for you that's going to make you fall off in this truth? Read.
And give not that unto it.
So avoid it. Don't do it. Don't have it in your presence. Don't hang around these type of people. Don't listen. Don't watch these types of things, because it's not good for your spirit. It's going to hinder the spirit that you're trying to give. Read.
Verse 28. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything.
So some people can drink. Some people have a higher drinking tolerance. But there's other people that just don't drink at all because it's not for their spirit. Not saying that it's a bad thing to do, but they know themselves well enough that I can't do that. It's going to knock me off balance. Chapter 38, verse 24 in Sirach.
Verse 24?
Yes, sir.
Sirach chapter 38, verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure.
So the less amount of things that you task yourself out with, the more time you're going to have with this gospel. Read.
And he that hath little business shall become wise.
Read.
How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plow, and that glorieth in the goad, that driveth oxen, and is occupied in their labors, and whose talk is of bullocks? He giveth his mind to make furrows, and is diligent to give the kind fodder. So every carpenter and workmaster that laboreth night and day, and they that cut and grave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, and give themselves to counterfeit imagery, and watch to finish a work.
So these are the people that are constantly working. When you see them, they hold conversations about, man, I got this, and man, I was working on it, and it looked like this, and I'm starting on this project, and it's doing this, and all they have to talk about is the works of life. That's it. They have no works in this truth. Like, man, I was talking to this brother the other day, man. It changed my spirit. It made me think of this, and I read this, and it was there. That's not their conversation. Their conversation is, man, I'm about to level up on this 2K, man. I'm making this and I'm doing this, I'm doing these moves. Their only thought is to maintain what they're doing at work. Go ahead.
What's the key word in those verses that Enos just read? What is the key word in there? It's something that we have to be in this truth. Diligent. Diligent. They are diligent in their works. They're diligent. It says it throughout the whole scripture, through the context of what it's talking about. The man that's doing in his works and he's focused on his works, he is diligent. He lose sleep for that and everything. But that's how we need to be for this work. That's how we need to be for this truth. Diligent. That was it.
Jump to verse 31.
Verse 31. All these trust to their hands, and every one is wise in his work.
So everybody, man, that's what I was saying, like with work. You know the ins and outs, what to do, what not to do, the whole guidelines of the rules to work. But as soon as it comes to this Bible, you're like, I don't remember that scripture. How you break down John 3:16, what's love? I don't remember. You the one that's always got your head down and your hand down when questions are being asked because you're so focused on your life and not the kingdom. Read.
Verse 32. Without these cannot a city be inhabited.
Now, the Bible is saying we need these type of people. We need people with trades. We need people that can do laborers' works. But that is not what you all should be your main focus. Make a living for yourself. Yes. But these people, they won't be sought for. Read.
And they shall not dwell where they will, nor go up and down.
They ain't going to be the ones in camp. They ain't going to be the ones asking questions. They're going to be in the back of the room watching class, not even taking notes, because some of them be ashamed that they don't know. His brothers would be like, man, I can't even read that well. And I tell them, like, listen, there's brothers out there that couldn't read a lick either. They had no confidence in their voice. They read like this. You couldn't understand them. They came to Camp 101. They didn't hold the excuse of, I don't know how to read. It's children that have learned how to read better from being in this truth because they're constantly practicing and stumbling over words to where you couldn't tell them from an adult in their reading. It's grown men with fourth grade with a reading level. And then they come off in here and it's like they college professors in the scriptures. The Bible has the power to change that. You just have to, what's the word? Diligently want it. Right. I'll say it like that. Read.
Verse 33. They shall not be sought for in public counsel, nor sit high in the congregation.
You won't be a leader. You'll be a brother, you'll be a sister that sits in the back of the classroom every single week, every single month, not being able to answer a single question or give the main answer of keep God's commandments and the faith of Jesus Christ. Every time that's asked, you got the answer. You spot on with that. Your hand's first one up. You got to keep the commandments. You got to keep the laws of God. That's the only thing that you know. You've been sitting here 3 to 5 years. That's the only question that you can answer. Read on.
They shall not be sought for in public counsel, nor sit high in the congregation. They shall not sit on the judge's seat, nor understand the sentence of judgment. They cannot declare justice and judgment, and they shall not be found where parables are spoken.
So when brothers are sitting around having conversations, you either, what's the word? It's not embarrassed, but what's the word? Like you feel some type of way because you don't fit in.
Shame.
I won't say ashamed. It's that too, but you won't fit in these conversations because all you can talk about is the basketball game next week. As soon as that conversation is over and the Bible opens up, you sitting there like this.
I know LeBron stats.
And that freaking amazes me. It's people that can call Michael Jordan stats and the year. But as soon as the Bible opens up, I don't know. I thought everybody was supposed to take the shot. We're not talking about that, brother. We here. Don't you understand? You've been here for months on, and you still don't get it.
Right.
This is who those people are. Verse 34.
Verse 34. But they will maintain the state of the world, and all their desire is in the work of their craft.
And some of these people don't even have a craft. Where we're at today, some people just don't have a craft. All they do is go to work and watch sports. ESPN on repeat. Or fire up the game console.
Can we keep reading on that? 34, 1 and 2.
Chapter 34?
Yeah, 39, I'm sorry, 39.
Chapter 39. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies.
Be occupied in prophecies. So if we practice Joshua 1 and 8, when we meditate on the laws, and be occupied in prophecies, keep reading.
He will keep the sayings of the renowned men.
He will keep the sayings, the wisdom, all that is going to be stored up in your brains. When you're sitting here and you're meditating on these words, you're magnifying these words. You're building yourself up to where you can make the sense to the people, for the people. You're gonna have. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men. Keep reading.
And where subtle parables are, he will be there also.
Everywhere Deacon opened his mouth, he's there, getting that wisdom. He's on one accord. He's moving just like Deacon. That's it.
Go to verse 8 through 11. I was going to go here.
Chapter 39. This is the book of Sirach.
Right.
Chapter 39, verse 8. He shall show forth that which he hath learned, and shall glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord.
So this man that's paying attention and studying, inclining his ears to what's being taught, learning for himself, so when he's asked, he has an answer. He's going to grow into this type of person, this type of a prophet. Read.
Many shall commend his understanding, and so long as the world endureth, it shall not be blotted out.
This man is going to be remembered like Moses, Joshua, Caleb. He's going to be remembered just like these men. You lose your place?
No, I'm there.
Go ahead.
His memorial shall not depart away, and his name shall live from generation to generation.
A man like this, you're going to remember him forever. Your kids are going to talk about him. You ain't even met him, but you're going to know, like, yeah, that guy must have been great. I see what he was doing, and he did this. That was him too. This man is going to be remembered through his works, because of the knowledge that he took the time to get. Read. Or she.
Verse 10. Nations shall show forth his wisdom, and the congregation shall declare his praise.
He's going to be remembered amongst his people, without a doubt, because he took the time to know his God and to teach his people, bring them to God. Read.
If he die, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000. And if he live, he shall increase it.
And that's the point, man. Listen, you get to certain situations where, like, dang, man, he's sick. I don't think he's gonna make it. I don't think that this is gonna be like with Moses. When Moses was taken away from us, it was like, okay, what we gonna do now? We ain't got nobody to follow, even though how we treated Moses back then. But his name, if he would have lived on, he would have done even more. If Christ could have lived on, he would have did even more.
Right.
And you got to put yourself in that. And that's why I keep saying, what are you doing that's going to bring the people? What are your works saying? Are you going to leave a name like that to where people are like, dang, man, he can't go. He still has so much to teach us. The prophets, the 12, they were hanging on to him like, listen, he had to call the brother the devil. Like, you know what I have to do. But we didn't want Christ to die either. It was still so much that we didn't know. And just to be in his presence, we still wanted him to be there. I mean, even him himself, he was like, do I have to die? There's still so much more I can do. Just give me 10 more days. It's just a little bit more I need to do. I want to do. I don't want to leave yet. Like, just you got to rest. There's more things. Just rest, brother. Rest. You've done great works. Read. No, that was it. Go to Psalms 97. Psalms 19, verse 97.
Oh, how love I thy law. It is my meditation all the day. Thou,
read on.
Yes, sir. Thou through thy commandments hast made me wiser than mine enemies, for they are ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for thy testimonies are my meditation.
Read.
I understand more than the ancients, because I keep thy precepts. I have refrained my feet from every evil way, that I might keep thy word. I have not departed from thy judgments, for thou hast taught me. How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way.
You're going to be so wise to where that it's going to be natural to you. Like, you're not even going to have to think that I don't do that. It's just going to be innate in you because you've studied so much. You have so much experience in what you've been learning that no sin can come near you. You're going to be like Job and eschew evil. You're going to be a perfect man at that point because you've done everything it takes to get closer to this word, to the Most High. Read.
Verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet.
It guides my path. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sin will have no place in you because it's in you. Read.
And a light unto my path. I have sworn, and I will perform it, that I will keep thy righteous judgment. I am afflicted very much. Quicken me, O Lord, according unto thy word.
We're still going through it. But that doesn't mean that we can't be made perfect by this word. That we can't still avoid the sins. That we still can't come amongst each other. We're still growing. We're still understanding. But this law is going to be in us as a nation so great that nothing evil is going to be able to harm us, even in the midst of evil things happening to us. That makes sense? Go to 2nd Ezra 14:34.
No, why he's doing that. So understand, this is talking about a person that is taking his time and implementing these scriptures. He said he's wise through the testimonies. He's wiser than his enemies through thy testimonies. You have to sit there and you have to study. You have to implement it. We're not studying to be Precepticons. We're not studying to know each scripture and recite each scripture.
We're studying so we can do it and perform it.
Right. So you have to apply these laws in your life. You have to meditate on these. You have to put precept upon precept, line upon line. You have to get the subject matter. You have to understand what you're reading, what you're doing. There's no way around it. We can't just remember the precept packet and say, oh, I'm wise. You're not going to last long. You're not going to be rooted in this truth. Studying for yourself to be better is going to make you well-rooted in this situation.
Sirach 14:34 and 35.
I thought you wanted 2nd Ezra.
Yeah, I keep saying Sirach. You know that's my favorite book.
Yeah.
It cuts me up so good, so I just can't stay out of the book of Sirach. 2nd Ezra chapter 14:34 and 35.
This book of 2nd Ezra chapter 14, verse 34. Therefore, if so be that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy.
Subdue our own understanding. The things that's hindering us, like I said, the things that's hindering us from performing these works, subdue it. Block it out. Leave it alone. Read.
For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again.
We're going to get life after all this struggle and oppression. As long as we endure, we're going to get life after all of this. Read.
And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared.
Because our names are going to be manifested. The angels are going to know, hey, yeah, it was that brother, that sister, that kid, that daughter. Everybody's names that were righteous is going to be named. And you want to make sure that you have a good name, that you've done everything in your life to bring new life. What I mean is to bring in a new spirit, to guide them and mold them, to be a true leader for this nation. Go to 1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 2. Yeah, go ahead.
Give me Ephesians chapter 4. Ephesians chapter 4. I was trying to hold on to that. Yeah. Read it when you get it.
Verse what?
Verse 22.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt, according to the deceitful lusts.
We have to get rid of that old man. We have to get rid of that old man. And to understand what Officer Noah is talking about, where we get tired and we don't want to put forth the effort for this work, for this truth. What are we doing in our downtimes? We have to get rid of that old man. We have to get rid of those sitcoms that we watch. We got to get rid of Facebook. We got to get rid of hip hop, whatever, all that. Atlanta House Wives. We got to get rid of all that. The former conversation, the former thoughts, the way we handle things, the way we do, the way we move. We got to get rid of that. That old man is corrupt.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. And this is going into the man that hid his talents. I might not be able to touch all of it, but I'm gonna hit the main point. Go ahead, Enos, if you got it.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 14. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. And straightway took his journey.
So all of us have uniqueness to us as to why we're being called. It's something that you bring to the table, as well as this is your natural way of life. But you bring something special that's going to get someone else to come in. And you have to use that as it's given to you. Some people have been given, like, you put it in their hands and it's like, how did you do it so well, so fast, so great? With other people, you had it and you struggled with it until it got to a level. Like, some people, they see things and they learn it just like that. They don't have to study for it. They can just take a test and they know the information. They don't take notes. And it's like, how does he do it? But some of us, we really got to work at it just to get to average level. Some of us are going to come in with that. And it's still going to be example for the next man, the next sister, because not every spirit is the same. Not everybody learns the same. So say you're dyslexic. Well, the next person coming in, I'm like, well, I'm dyslexic, man. I don't learn that way. I can't get it like y'all get it. Well, brother, I'm dyslexic too. You tell me 245, I'm gonna screw that number up somewhere because I didn't hear it correctly at first. You may have to tell me 3 times before I get it. And you're going to have that patience now to deal with somebody in that situation. So these are the talents that's given to you. This is what you should be doing with it. Jump down to, finish reading. No, verse 20.
Verse 20.
Verse 19.
Verse 19, after a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them.
So Christ is going to come at some point in time and see what you've done with the spirit that the Most High gave you. Read.
And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more.
So this man doubled his work. What you gave me, I doubled it. He put in works for the Most High. Read.
His Lord said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. enter thou into the joy of the Lord.
So this is just another way of Christ saying, if you love me, I'm going to tell the Father, and the Father is going to love you. You're going to be blessed. Now he's saying in a different way, this is how you're going to be blessed. When we get the kingdom, then what you sowed here is going to be in the kingdom of heaven. So if you did wonderful works here, you're going to receive that back fold. You're going to be rulers over nations, over countries. Read.
Verse 22, he also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them.
So this man, with the amount that he was giving, he doubled his as well. But this third man, read.
Verse 23, his Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed.
So he said, I knew what I was supposed to do, and I didn't want to lose what you gave me. Read.
And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth.
So whatever I had, I just kept the information. I kept it to myself. I didn't do anything with it. I kept it because I knew you were going to come back and want it. So I kept it. I hid it so no one else can take it, and I knew where to find it. That's not the type of spirit that we got to have. We can't be closed up in a box. Oh, no, I'm not going to teach. I'm gonna let the skilled brothers do it. He's more eloquent in his word. Look how he does this. Listen, we can't have that spirit of that man does it better. So, I'm going to just sit on the sidelines and watch him do it. And maybe one day I'll jump out there. We playing double dutch with the kingdom. We're going to get in there. You can't do that. Read.
Then verse 25. And I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that is thine. His Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed.
You know that I was going to ask for interest off of what I gave you. Read.
Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then in my coming I should have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give it unto him which hath 10 talents.
So the man that did wondrous works, guess what? Give it to him. Because I know that he's going to produce what he's supposed to produce beyond what he was given. So give it to him, meaning that he's going to have a better name in the kingdom. And you ain't going to have nothing. It was taken away from you because you knew what you were supposed to do. We know what we're supposed to do with this gospel. And the question is, are we doing it? Are we really loving thy neighbor as we love ourselves? Are we really pushing this truth to the max individually? The office that we have been given, are we pushing that one office to its max? Are we sitting and waiting for somebody else to do the work? Because somebody's going to do it, but it doesn't account for you individually. You have to be doing this for yourself, for your own name. Yeah, the nation is going to grow. The work is going to get done. But it's a you thing now. What are you doing to make sure you hold your position for the kingdom and to have that name of works? Matthew 13, 19. No, 9. My mistake. Matthew chapter 13 and verse 9.
Matthew chapter 13, verse 9. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear.
Uh-huh.
And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given.
Jump down to verse 16.
Verse 16. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear.
So Christ is saying, blessed for your eyes and your ears. Read on.
For verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, have not heard them.
It's a lot of people, like, to the magnitude that we're at, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther Kings, They have not seen or heard these things. And even us, they got to see Christ. They got to see some of the prophets and knew it. They got to see miracles. They were raising the dead, like Lazarus was dead. And they got to see that. And Christ is telling them there's many things that even us today, we don't get to see it. So blessed are your eyes that you can see it. Now for today, you're seeing the prophecies that Christ was talking about. You can see it and you can understand it. That is a blessing in itself that you should be preaching to the whole world that, listen, this Bible really opens up your eyes to what life is. Your mouth should open and not cease with the gospel that we have, the advantage that we have over everybody. We know what's going to happen at the end of the world. Mm-hmm. They got a clue. They make movies about it, but we know the end of the end and the beginning of that end, and it's us. And the other parts of it, we can't imagine it because it's written in the scriptures on how much he's going to bless us with the kingdom. But we know that it's far greater than this. And to not want to grab each and every brother, like it was somebody that said, you know, it depends on people's moods whether to give them a flyer or not. No, there's some people that just have that natural grumpy face. Your kind words might melt that away. Or, you know, they just deep in thought, and that's just how they face look. Say, hey, how you doing, brother, sister? How you doing? How's your day? Things going well for you? I hope so. Hey, check out this fire. I don't want to take too much of your time, but this is our information. Because us as black people, we just have those mean-looking faces where, yeah, he's unapproachable. But you know your grandpa was the most fun-loving person, but he sat there like he was grumpy. Everything he said was with a loud, thunderous voice. And he's like, why he always fussing? That's just how he talk, baby. He ain't fussing. That's how we all are. So you understanding your people, don't let those things hinder you from doing the work. Because Christ had people trying to physically kill him, and he knew it. But he was still out there doing the work. Last scripture, John 21:17. One of the last things that he told the disciples.
Why he's getting that? You know they have an acronym for that.
What's that?
It's called RBF. I'm not going to say what it is.
I wasn't going to say it. But I use nice words.
Yeah, they have an acronym called RBF. I'll let y'all look that up. But people, that's what going back to 1 John is when you have that love for your people, that fear, you give anybody a flyer. That face that people have, they ain't supposed to scare you. They ain't supposed to fear you. You're supposed to do the work. You fear God or you fear men?
For me in the world, it was just a defense mechanism. I'm a small man, so, you know, in the world, it's like, well, I'm going to look like this so nobody try me. Like, oh, yeah, he's real. Don't mess with him. And it just stayed that way. John 21:17.
John chapter 21, verse 17. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Jesus saith unto him, feed my sheep.
So at the third time of Christ saying this, because he knew that this was his time. And he's saying, like, listen, if you love me, just the same way the commandments keep saying, love thy neighbor as thyself. You heard it. You heard it over and over and over. You're practicing it. And you know that you're practicing it. You know that you're doing it. But can you take it to another level? Can you be better at this new commandment? To love your people, to do what it takes to educate and instruct your people as the leader that you're being created to be, that you were created to be from the beginning. And if the answer is yes, you know that I love you. Feed the flock. Learn all that you can and feed the people.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.